So glad you're here with me. This is my new kitchen. It's getting there. It's a little bit small, but I don't know, lots of space. Just with everything I have in the kitchen, it's taking some maneuvering and organizing to get it all to fit and be efficient like I love it. So anyways, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. There's no recipe quite yet for you. I'm going to be walking you through this and providing the recipe after the class. Probably tomorrow morning I'll write up all the instructions so it's perfectly clear for you. Let me know in the comments that you can hear me. Awesome. Hi Lisa. Hi everyone joining us. So like I said, there's no exact recipe just yet, but I'm going to walk you all through it, and this is inspired by a combination of a recent recipe I made, lentil tacos, and I made the taco meat from lentils and mushrooms and onions, and it was so delicious that it's probably my favorite filling for tacos. And I am also inspired by a taco salad that I grew up with. My mom made it all the time whenever I was at our cottage. We had a cottage in Ohio on Lake Erie, and this taco salad was made with meat and cheese and corn chips, but it was there's such a nostalgic feeling around it that it doesn't matter that I'm not going to add any meat or cheese or even the chips. I'll talk about an option for chips, but just the idea of putting it all together and the look of it and then the flavor, we're going to get really great flavor here, that it's going to be an awesome summer salad. So, and of course you can have this any time of the year, but summertime, it definitely feels like a lighter salad, and we want more freshness. The tomatoes, cilantro and things like that are great for summer dishes. So with that being said, to get started, we are going to first get our lentils cooking. So in my taco recipe, the lentil tacos, if you have that, if you were on our email list earlier this month, you got that in an email, and hopefully you tried it out and loved it. That recipe is a little bit different. The lentils I'm making for this recipe, because there's multiple components to the salad, I wanted to make the lentils a little bit simpler. So first of all, I'm doing them in the Instant Pot. You can do them on the stovetop. You just cook them like you would cook lentils normally on the stovetop. We're going to use these French green lentils, and so actually that is one ingredient. Let me just pull out my lentils here. 1 second. Let me show you. So, look at this. Big container of lentils here. This is my start to buying in bulk. So these are my French green lentils, and I should track how long it takes me to go through these, but I'm just going to take a cup from here, and I'll do another video on buying in bulk and storage containers and everything like that, but it's been too long to start buying in bulk, so I'm really excited about this. And I'm just pulling out 1 cup of green lentils. We're going to put them into the pot here. And you can use other lentils. The green or brown lentils work great too, because they have more integrity and they hold their shape. So it's important to do green of some sort or brown, the darker colors that are whole lentils. They'll hold their shape, where the red and orange lentils, they're going to disintegrate. They're going to become creamier much faster. And you can't put a lentil that doesn't have any shape into a salad. It just won't work. That's works well for soup, but not for salad. So green of any color or brown or black lentils even would work. The French green lentils are just a little bit firmer than the other green lentils, which is why they do work so well for salads. one more thing we need to do is plug in, just so my battery doesn't die. All right, you guys know how it is getting set up in a new place. You always think it's going to go a little bit faster than it does. There's always more things to do. So I saw another question. Diane, this is my new kitchen. We're in Washington. The lentils, I got them from this online company, but Jeffrey, I'll have to tell you guys another time the exact company. Here we go. Or maybe I'll pull out the receipt once we get things going. I'm thinking the lentils, they'll stay months, up to a year or even 2 years, depending on if you get a good container or not, but that's a whole nother conversation we'll get into. So we have our lentils here. I'm going to add water. So for 1 cup of lentils in the Instant Pot, 1 cup of lentils would mean 1 3/4 cup of water. On the stovetop, it's more like 1 cup of lentils to 3 cups of water, 3 to 1. In the Instant Pot, just 1 3/4 cup to every cup of lentils. So we're going to put this in for just 6 minutes on the manual setting or the pressure cooker setting, depending on which pressure cooker you have. And I'm getting this started right now, but I'm still going to add some spices. Okay. So right now we're going to add in our paprika and chili powder. Okay, so we've got a tablespoon of each into this pot here. Now, if you wanted to, you could add a couple other spices. That would be great. Cumin and oregano. But like I said, I'm keeping this simpler so you don't have too many ingredients. So what's important is chili powder and paprika. So 1 tablespoon of each. And if you want to use smoked paprika, you could do that. Close the valve in the back on the pressure cooker. Smoked paprika would work for some smokiness, but you don't need it. And I like just the plain paprika for this recipe for taco salad. And you want to check your chili powder beforehand. I have a blended chili powder, so it's a mixture of garlic and cumin and other chilies, but it's not super spicy. Often chili powders, if you're not getting an actual blend, and if it's just powdered chili, it could be a little spicy or a lot spicy. So be sure you're aware of what type of chili powder you're adding. And if it is a spicier one, add less. So we're just gonna let our lentils cook for the 6 minutes. Once it's to pressure, it'll cook for 6 minutes. And then we're going to naturally release the pressure for 15 minutes, which means basically that the pressure is going to release on its own. So we don't need to do anything, because at that 15-minute mark, when you go to manually release the rest of the pressure, what I've noticed is that it's already fully depressurized. So 15 minutes or just a natural release, you could say. All right, now on to our dressing. So this is going to be a Catalina dressing, which is basically like a sweet tomato dressing, and it's going to be super simple. So I make more than you need for this recipe because I think that we use dressings often, and it's better to have extra on hand than not enough. Especially in the plant-based world, we're eating lots of salads, but also other steamed vegetables, even baked potatoes. Dressings go great over any plant food, basically. And so it's better to have more than not enough. And this recipe calls for tomato paste. And so what I want to do is use all of the tomato paste and not have to put some of it back in the fridge. So the recipe is going to be for 6 ounces of tomato paste. This jar is actually 7 ounces. So I decided to make this recipe for just 6 ounces because that's what's typical in a tomato paste jar and not the 7 ounces. But usually I would just add in this whole bottle and then adjust. So that's what I'll do when I make this recipe. But for all intensive purposes, you guys making the recipe, we're just going to leave a little bit of this in the bottom, about 1 ounce. And this company is so fantastic because they do put the tomato paste in a glass jar and not in a can. And tomatoes, all the citric acid in the tomatoes, that acid pulls out the BPA from the lining of the cans. So if you're getting a can of tomato paste or tomatoes in general, you want to look for BPA-free lining or get an aseptic container of the tomatoes, or better yet, just a glass jar like this. And this is nice because I can put it back into the fridge with the jar, with the lid on. Okay, so our tomato paste. Now we have the sweetness. If you look at a Catalina dressing, the first ingredient is usually sugar. Basically it's a sugar dressing with a little bit of tomato and spice. So our sweetener here is going to be dates. Fresh mid-jewel dates is what I use, but if you want to use deglette, by all means, go ahead. You'll just use a couple deglettes for every mid-jewel date because the mid-jewel dates are bigger. And make sure you pick them ahead of time. Okay. Now our spice. We're going to do garlic and onion and the paprika as well. Oh, I have these out here. So let's do our paprika here. We'll use the rest of this. It's a perfect amount there, which is a tablespoon. That was a tablespoon of paprika, and I'm keeping all of these measurements really even, so it's easy. I love that when recipes are just like one of this, one of that. But you can adjust these to taste if you want a little more, a little less of something. Then a tablespoon of garlic granules and onion granules. And this is a half tablespoon measurement, so I'm doing 2 of each. And this looks like a lot of spice, but it's going to be good. And your condiments are generally more flavorful, more intense flavors than just a dish, because the condiment is adding so much of a flavor to a dish, especially in a salad. And the brand, I'm guessing, of the tomato paste, this is Bio Nature. I get West Spray and Bio Nature mixed up. Bio Nature, and it's spelled BIONATURAE. AE. So great brand for tomato products. 6 dates. That was 6 dates. So maybe some of you are making notes of this, and you can make it tonight before you get the recipe in the mail. Next up are chia seeds. So we're adding chia seeds here for a little bit of gelatinous consistency with the dressing, and also for the omega-3s. It's always great to get a little more chia seeds in the diet, and all of their other benefits too, the fiber and everything. If you want to use French onion and garlic. French onion, I'm not sure what you mean by French onion. Oh, fresh. Fresh onion. Of course, you can use fresh onion and garlic. There's just one thing to consider with the onion is the water content. The garlic, it doesn't have too much water, so that would be pretty simple, but the onion is going to have a little bit more, and so you would and it also is going to have a little bit more fiber and a little bit more body, just as how adding a date is different than adding maple syrup, or adding a date is different than adding the white sugar. It has a little bit more fiber, and it adds a little bit of thickness to the recipe. So you might need to adjust your liquid amounts, which we're getting to right now. We're going to do, how much are we doing? We are doing a cup of water and 3/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. Okay. And if this is too strong for you, you could do 1/2 cup of the apple cider vinegar too. I think I might have actually done 1/2 cup, so we'll see. How much chia seed? 1 tablespoon of the chia seeds. And we're gonna blend this up really quickly. Make sure you get those dates really, really well blended, and we'll give this a taste. Yeah, so this is a little thinner. I added a little more vinegar. Let's try it out. Oh, it's great. So between 1/2 cup and 3/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. You could use distilled vinegar too. It wouldn't have as sweet of an apple flavor, but that distilled vinegar, it might be a little bit stronger. So definitely start with just 1/2 cup and work from there. And I made a batch of this earlier, and it is with the just 1/2 cup of vinegar. It's a little bit thicker. So you can decide on, I'll give you an idea when you're making it, what you could expect if you went one way or the other. Where'd that little spoon go? Here. Okay, so this is our vinegar, our dressing as it is. And obviously this is a little bit thicker than an oil dressing that you buy in the store, but it would, it's gonna go great over the salad. And this one is even a little thicker than that. But again, once you mix it into your salad, it's great. So my preference is this one, and this is how I will write the recipe. Okay. All right. I'll set this aside for now. There was 6 dates, everyone. And now we're on to our salad fixings, right? So we'll start with our greens here. I have some beautiful lettuce. This is some local romaine. Actually, the checkout guy said butter lettuce, but it looks like more like romaine to me. And I'm going to put some paper towel down to dry this. So you can use any greens you want. If you want a little bit more crunch. If you want a little bit more crunch in your salad, you could do a cabbage, a purple or green cabbage. But romaine, actually I think iceberg is what my mom used growing up, but romaine is what we're using today. Okay, and I'm just drying this because you don't want wet greens in your salad. And you can chop this up and put it into a salad spinner, and that would work really well. So it's my preference for drying a salad. I'm gonna grab my knife. All right, we'll just chop this up. And we are doing 1 cup of lentils. It'll turn out to make about 3 cups cooked, 3 to 4 cups cooked. And this is going to be a great amount of a salad for probably 4 people. But I know if you're a big salad eater and this is your main course, you could actually make this work for just 2 people. And if you're doing it for just 2 people, then I would use less of the lentils in ratio to the salad. You know, if you're going for this to be a big salad as your entree meal. All right. I'm going to put all of this in greens into our bowl here. Whoa! Did you see that? I'm not sure. Someone said peeped and oh, I'm not sure what those are referring to, but I got a little bug in my salad. Little bugger on my board popped out to see us. So, but luckily we caught him before getting into my bowl. You see my Instant Pot going off back there? This is the sign it's done cooking under pressure, but we're going to let it continue to cook for 15 minutes as it releases that pressure, okay? So we have our lettuce done. We're going to now cut up some carrots. So I'm going to shred these carrots, and they're going to be an alternative to what item are they going to look like in our salad. Any guesses? We'll get out our shredder here. Someone's gonna know. So my mom wouldn't typically put carrots in our taco salad, but I thought instead of cheese, we would add shredded carrots, because she would always add, you know, shredded cheddar or something else like that, and this is going to be a nice alternative. Yeah, you guys all guessed it too. So if you want to add other vegetables too, you could do that. Bell pepper would be great here. I want to add a little bit of onion. I'm going to add red onion. It's typical in my mom's salads, and she said she'd also add green onions, scallions. But I figured we'd just keep it to the red onion today, and some cilantro. And then of course our tomatoes. So, all right. And we're gonna put this in there. Scoop all that up and right into the salad. You could use a shredded non-dairy cheese if you want to in this salad instead of the typical cheddar, or instead of these carrots, or in addition to the carrots. But any of that shredded cheese that you buy at the store is really just kind of highly processed ingredients. Lots of oil, or you might get a nut-based one, but in order to get the nut-based cheeses shaped into a cheddar, then there's still some added processed ingredients, highly processed ingredients. So I recommend just sticking with the carrots. But if you're transitioning, or you're doing this to take to a party and it's just on occasion, then of course go ahead and use the shredded cheese, non-dairy cheese, if you want to. Okay, so we have some cilantro here, fresh cilantro, and I have a special tool we'll use for this. Or maybe, oh, let's see. My special tool is not to be found. Oh, here it is. So these are little herb scissors. Fun to use. They have multiple blades. There's like 4 blades there, actually 5 blades. And so this makes chopping some cilantro super simple when you only want a little bit in here on the top. just an option. But make sure that you get close enough to the end so that you're actually getting it all chopped up and not some larger pieces like this. If you drop some in here, chop those again. Okay, fun. You can look up herb scissors online and you'll find a couple companies that do these. This company is Genaluca, Genaluca, Genaluca. So fun tool. Yeah. Oh, Kay's eating her own tomatoes from the garden. We've got ours growing too, but we haven't harvested any tomatoes yet. But I've got my herbs here, and so what kind of camera do you use? Oh, random question, but Logitech is the camera. So we have our next ingredient is going to be tomatoes. So these Roma tomatoes, set this aside. Actually, before our tomatoes, let's pull out our onion. We've got red onion here. Got some already sliced up. So pull those out, and then I'm going to do a little more. We have these onions sliced thinly because I don't want to bite into a big piece of onion. But you can, of course, if you want larger pieces, by all means, go ahead. And we're just going to kind of mince the onion up. I'm doing purple red onion so we get that pretty color, but you could use a white or yellow onion if you want. And we'll go through this one more time. All right. Now I did a class on Tuesday for True North Health Center. I taught a live virtual class and that went fabulously. We're going to be doing another one next Tuesday. Actually, it was not Tuesday, Wednesday at 10 a.m. If you catch us here, feel free to join us, but that is not, that's specifically for the True North patients. So it's not going to be left up online. Actually, I'm not sure what I'm doing with that. I'm just rambling now. But I think what I want to do is make it available live for True North patients and for our Delicious Living members. And then the recording can be posted later on. But let's put that there. If you happen to be around next Wednesday at 10 a.m., I will be live again, and I may or may not be posting it right here on the Facebook page and the YouTube page. So stay tuned and check it out if you want to join us. Otherwise, next week I'll be right here again, same time, and I've got a couple ideas in mind of what we'll be creating. So I'm also speaking to a couple guest chefs to be joining us in the next few weeks, next month or so. And one chef is going to be teaching us how to make up a dessert bar. Not only a dessert bar, but also a nacho bar. So imagine dessert nachos. How much fun does that sound? So that is going to be an amazing class and super fun, super fun. And she'll be demoing from her kitchen, but I may have to join her in my kitchen as well because it just sounds like too much fun to miss out on. So we have, that's 2 Roma tomatoes. We're definitely going to go with 3, maybe 4 here. And if you want to, you can seed the tomatoes because they get really juicy, but the seeds and the pulp actually has the most flavor. The pulp of the tomatoes has the most flavor. So I don't really like seeding and pulling out that inner part because it has so much flavor, and it's also just an extra step. But if you really need to for your dishes, then go ahead. But for this dish, it'll be nice to have that extra juice in our dish. Okay. Any questions? Yeah. Okay. I would love to send an email about the True North demo. I just don't want to promise. I'm a little overwhelmed with everything going on, but yes, that would be ideal to give you guys a heads up. But it is for like I said, it's going to be private to our Delicious Living members. So an extra treat for the members to join us live. So Timmery Hamburger. Yes, Hagenberger. Timmery is joining us. Timmery is a nutritionist and chef, cookbook author in San Francisco. So, I don't know who that was. Who knows Peter? J. Peter knows Timmery. She's fantastic. So if you guys have any suggestions, I know there's so many chefs out there. If you know anyone that wants to come on live and give us a special treat, show us how to make something different. I'm always looking for guest chefs, and it's really fun to give you and the community and even myself some different perspectives and some new ideas of what we're making. So just let me know. This looks great, doesn't it? You could just mix this up and eat it as is with all that tomato juice in there, but we have our sauce and our lentils to come. So the lentils are almost done. Let me just see if it's already, the pressure's already released. So this is actually good to go. But I already have some cooled. So these are what the lentils look like when they're out. There is a little bit of a red tint to them from the chili powder and the paprika, but these are cooled down. So I'm going to add these lentils and we'll let those cool for later. And you can see this kind of looks like, you know, if you weren't too super close able to see that they're tiny little circles, it does look a little bit like hamburger meat. So mix all this in, and then our dressing. And let's measure this, how much we're going to pour in. So we're going to start with 3/4 a cup to start with. Let's see how this does. This wooden bowl, I'm not sure of the exact brand, but the brand I recommend, because I don't know where I got this one, the Holland bowls. I might have got this from like World Market. They sometimes have those big wooden bowls. But Holland bowls, they're not inexpensive, but they are so high quality and worth the penny because they will last. If you look up Holland bowls, there's many different types of woods you could choose from and different sizes. And their sizes actually go up to a larger size, which is great for plant-based people, because this bowl, just 2 people could eat. Basically, this full bowl could be 2 servings for a dinner. And if you're really a volume eater, you could do this whole bowl by yourself. So I might need a bigger bowl myself for family parties. All right, this looks really good. I'm really, really happy with this. Doesn't that look good? It looks like a taco salad. And I think our ratios were pretty good. So I'm gonna give it, try it out. Let's try it out. And take it right from our bowl here. Big bite. I love it. I love it when all the ratios, the right amount of lentils. This is a taco salad. This is the way I grew up with taco salad. And there wasn't a lot of spice, right? We use that Catalina dressing and the taco seasoning mixed. But as I remember it, there wasn't heat to it. There was no heat whatsoever. And so if you wanted to, and sometimes we did just use a salsa, but for the most part, we were using that dressing. And if you want a little spice to it, you can add in a hot sauce, or you could add in some jalapeno pepper or cayenne in the either in your Catalina dressing or in the lentils. You could add more spice. So that's going to be up to you if you want to add a little spice. The taco salad is seasoned but not spiced. And yeah, I'm gonna, as I eat this, I'm gonna think about it, because I might increase a little bit of the spice, just for a little more flavor, not for more heat, but for more flavor. And so just stay tuned for the recipe and you'll see the amounts. But this is a great place to start. And because none of those spices, you can pretty much just sprinkle them in if you want a little extra spice, or a hot sauce, like I said, a hot sauce. And if you don't have a salt-free hot sauce and you're interested in one, there's a company called Bima and Pa, and they make a couple hot sauces. One is garlic cilantro, and that would be a fantastic addition. Just a few sprinkles in there would be a great addition. So the other thing, if you want to serve this with a couple of other options to spruce it up, give it more variety, corn would be great, and avocado. And of course, a little bit of lime juice too. Squeeze on some lime on your individual servings if you'd like to. So that's it for now. So fresh and so easy. So clean, so delicious. Let me just see if I missed any of your questions. A substitute for lentils. Thank you for repeating that question. The black beans. I actually have some black beans in the fridge, and that would be an excellent switch if you're just allergic to the lentils. If legumes you can handle, black beans or pinto beans, but the black beans have a little bit more contrast, so that would be my go-to, and they would work great. I wouldn't do split peas. Another thing you could do is tempeh. You could crumble up some tempeh. I would steam it first, or boil it in a little bit of water on the stove top, and then cook it with those spices until you don't want any water left over. So you might want to drain out some of the water, add the spices, and then cook it down and cool it, and then add that taco meat. That would be delicious as well. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the new kitchen. Simple. So fresh and clean here too. But I'll tell you, I have so many spice jars. I have spice jars in one of the cabinets, and some are still in a box here because I'm not sure what to do with them. That's, you know, you get into a new kitchen and sometimes the setup is just not very easy to work with. And so I'll let you know, I'll show you my spices once I figure out how to arrange them all. Yeah, so, and the other thing is, if you guys have suggestions of recipes you want to see this summertime too, because of course we want to be seasonal with these dishes, but if there's anything you really want to see, let me know here in the comments or send it an email. And last thing I want to say a couple things. This is my little place for announcing things. my email is just overloaded. And so if you did send an email recently as I went through this move, I just got really backed up. So I apologize if you're waiting on a response from me. What I realized is that I need to kind of cut back on the questions that I can answer to people emailing about culinary questions, food, nutrition questions, health concerns. I would always try my best to answer those as best as possible, but with trying to create more content, classes, and trainings for you, I'm not able to do those personal questions. So I am reserving any personalized responses or just answers to those culinary and nutrition questions to our members. So Delicious Living members, you can still write in with questions, and I will take those and answer them on our Q&A calls, which we're going to start this month. We're going to have our first live Q&A call in 2 weeks. Not this coming Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that at 10 a.m. and I'll let you know about that. But we're going to be doing monthly Q&A calls for our Delicious Living members. And then in August, we're actually going to start with monthly webinars as well. So Garden Fresh Healing webinars. I was thinking of doing a second cooking show called Garden Fresh Healing, but I'm just going to do all the cooking shows be called Delicious Living because there was too much overlap, not enough differentiation. And our webinars will be specifically towards healing and so it's all going to be tasty fun, and I can't wait to be sharing more with you guys. But just keep those things in mind. If you have any questions regarding the courses, the pricing or logistics, your login details, of course, email us support at the Culinary Gym. That's support at theculinarygym.com. But if you have any personal questions and you're a member, email us in and we'll answer those on a Q&A call. And if you're not a member, I just want to say we do have some resources on our website to find a doctor or a plant-based professional, nutritionist, someone that could help you address those custom questions. So if you go to our blog on the website, theculinarygym.com, you'll find the resources to find a plant-based doctor you could work with. And I guess that's it for now. We'll see you next week. I'm going to enjoy this big salad here and I'm going to save half of it for tomorrow's lunch as well. So you'll be getting this recipe emailed to you sometime tomorrow. So hopefully you can enjoy it this weekend. And if you took notes and can make it before then awesome. All right, everyone. Have a delicious weekend. Bye.